Welcome to another episode of the Garden Benchtop YouTube channel. Okay, before we get going, I'm going to be completely upfront from the get-go. This seed starting experiment may go completely sideways. So depending on the outcome, this may end up being one of those videos that you can learn what not to do, rather than how to start seeds for an aeroponics garden. This is the first time I'll be trying my hand in aeroponics, and I'll be documenting my journey, so make sure to subscribe and follow along with all the successes, or maybe let's be honest, probably more likely failures. Okay, that's enough of the preamble. Let's get into the fun stuff. How to start seeds to grow for an aeroponic system. So what you'll need is vermiculite, perlite, which will form the basis of our soilless soil. You'll need, of course, your seeds. I'll be doing parsley, coriander, basil, spring onion, and lettuce. You'll need a humidity chamber. I've chosen one here that fits a seedling cell tray. The most important thing here is that your tray has drainage holes and it's able to fit into your humidity chamber. Okay, the next step in the process is to fill this seed tray or the plug tray with a soilless medium. We'll be using a 1-to-1 mixture of the perlite and vermiculite, but we need to mix it up first. So to do that, I'm going to get my trusty sidekick to help me with this, and we're going to be mixing up our soilless soil in this container to feed into the seed tray. Okay, once we've got our mixture all sorted, we want to put it into our seed tray. So once you've evened it out and you've got your cells approximately 2/3 full or 3/4 full, the next step is to put our seeds in. This one's pretty easy. All you want to do is put the seeds on top of the soil and then we'll be covering it later. So I've got my little helper to help me here. Assistant. Okay, let's go. So the idea is, if you can help me with those, you need to put the seeds. I always put a couple of seeds per cell. Yep, you can just put that on top. Keep going. Try to spread them out. And the reason why I put a couple of seeds per cell is so that if a couple of the seeds are unviable or they don't grow, you'll have another one in there. So now, the last thing we need to do is put a very thin layer of soilless mixture on top, just to cover it and hold the seeds in place. Okay.
Can I help?
Yes. So once you have your seeds covered with the soilless mixture, the next step is to put your seeding tray into the incubator or the humidity chamber. Now what I like about the humidity chambers is the seeding trays fit nicely in the bottom tray, and I like to water from the bottom up. And this is also a good way to, when your seedlings have started sprouting, to fertilize them. So you put that in there and you can start to see that the water starts to drain up through the drainage holes, and it's actually gonna soak up through all the soil. I'm gonna leave this here for a couple of hours so we can get a good soaking, and then we'll come back. Okay, so this tray's been sitting here for about 30 minutes. I actually had to top up another container full of water because the vermiculite had absorbed all the water that I initially put in. So as you can see, it's now sitting at about an inch of water, and I can see that the vermiculite has absorbed quite a bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drain the excess. And just leave a little bit in there, that's okay. And then replace it. So the reason I've done that is otherwise the soil is going to be too wet and that can rot the seeds. So we're almost there. Basically you cover your humidity chamber, leave a bit of gap, and we want to place the seeds somewhere warm, even a heating mat, to stimulate the germination of the seeds. What you'll find is in the humidity chamber, all the water that we've just added will start to evaporate and condensate on the surfaces of the humidity chamber and then fall back in. So technically we shouldn't need to water this anymore until we see some sprouts. If you don't have one of these humidity chambers, that's fine. You can always use a snap lock bag. I've seen that work quite well. Otherwise, you can also use self-made seeding containers where you can use soft drink bottles and you can cover up the seeds to trap the moisture in. Now the sprouting stage duration will depend on the type of seeds you're growing. These ones will grow quite quickly. Within a week, I should start seeing some sprouts coming out from each of the tubes. Otherwise, it can actually take up to a couple of weeks if you're looking at seeds with harder skins. But once the cotyledons or the first seed leaves form, I like to move the seedlings under a grow light so that the seeds will start to grow strong, and rather than become leggy and searching for light, they'll grow upwards and have a strong stem to support themselves with. And the last step, once these seeds have sprouted and formed a good root ball, is going to be transplanting my seedlings into the aeroponic system. But I'll save that for another video. As for this, I'm going to move it into somewhere warm, keep an eye on it for the next week, and I'll update you on how these seedlings go, whether it's a success or a failure. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you found this video helpful. If you have, hit the like button and subscribe so you can see the updates on either my successes or the failure of my aeroponics system. Thank you. Bye. Bye.